challenge for me to individually choreograph a fight scene of that kind of epic scene. You understand? It's actually a challenge, but I thank God that it was a success.
So what are your expectations for this movie as you have directed?
Actually, there are no longer expectations. I've seen the final output, and I expect that you will be blown away when you watch it.
It's a comprehensive telling of the struggle of a people for identity, for survival, and also to stand your ground when it matters most, so that you don't get trampled upon by an intruder, so to speak, and many more.
With Amayanabo, the Eagle King, a rapper and a team hope to set a new pace for culturally rooted cinema, proving once again that Nigerian stories are best told by Nigerians themselves. Oyindamola Olukutan for Voice of the People TV.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get drum! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, Live it with us. Catch us on the Locker Room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, with the sport.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Behind every broken deck lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People television.
Hello, it's about that shagging man fine back with Melanie Poppy Blast Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know what you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weights.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi, guys. You already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers boy ever live. Keep watching VOP TV. Thank you.
Hi, people. Jenny Albano here. Guys, please keep watching Voice of the People.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Ofamiloni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary?
Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Here are the headlines. Tinubu signs Electoral Act 2026 into law as debate on e-transmission continues.
Also, Senate slams federal government's envelope budgeting system, cites security risks.
Senate warns federal agency heads over late arrival to budget sessions.
Also, Tinubu urges Nigerians to foster unity as Lent and Ramadan coincide.
Christian Association of Nigeria urges inclusive governance and unity on Ash Wednesday.
Kaduna Governor Ubasani lifts 11-year ban on Christian pilgrimage.
On the foreign scene, Ukraine-Russia talks end without a breakthrough, and Zelensky slams Moscow.
Well, in business news, Tinubu suspends NNPC fees to boost our revenues.
In sports, Sevilla coach Almeida banned for 7 matches over ref clash.
Well, in entertainment news terms, a Burna Boy smashed African artist Billboard Hot 100 record.
Now the news in details. President Bola Tinubu has defended his decision to sign the Electoral Act 2026 amendment into law, emphasizing that election credibility relies more on proper management and human oversight than real-time electronic transmission of results. Tinubu, who spoke shortly after signing the act into law, stated that elections are ultimately managed by people, not technology. The amendment allows for electronic transmission of results but does not make it mandatory, instead permitting manual collation as a fallback in case of network failures. Tinubu noted that Nigeria's technological capacity, particularly broadband infrastructure, is a concern. The decision has sparked controversy, with some arguing that real-time transmission is necessary for transparency, while others cite infrastructure limitations. The House of Representatives had passed a version mandating real-time transmission, but the Senate's version, which was ultimately signed, removes the real-time requirement.
In another development, the People's Democratic Party's chairmanship candidate in the Buhari Council election in the Federal Capital Territory, Julius Adamu, has withdrawn from the race, throwing his support behind APC candidate Joshua Musa. The move, witnessed by FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, has sent shockwaves through the Federal Capital Territory's political circles. Adamu publicly urged his supporters to back Musa, a decision captured in an online video of the event. The reasons behind Adamu's sudden withdrawal are unclear, with reports fueling speculation about the implications for the upcoming election.
The Senate has faulted the federal government's envelope budgeting system, warning that it is ill-equipped to address the country's deepening security crisis. The upper chamber made a criticism during the 2026 budget defense session of the Office of the National Security Advisor. Senator Yahaya Abdullahi gaps, delayed releases, and unimplemented capital projects as concerns amid insurgency, banditry, kidnappings, separatist tensions, oil theft, and piracy.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has reprimanded heads of federal ministries, departments, and agencies for persistently arriving late to budget defense sessions, warning that it will no longer tolerate the trend. The rebuke came during the 2026 budget defense of security agencies, where senators commended security chiefs for their punctuality. Senator Orji Uzor Kalu emphasized that the Senate will no longer condone laxity, especially during a critical budget period. The warning was directed at agency heads who frequently turned up late, contrasting with the punctuality of security chiefs, including National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu and the Department of State Services Director General.
Moving on, President Bola Tinubu has described the simultaneous observance of Lent and Ramadan as a rare occurrence, urging Nigerians to leverage the coincidence to promote peace, unity, and stability. In his Lenten and Ramadan message, Tinubu emphasized that Christians and Muslims share common values and are one people under God. The president called on Nigerians to ensure good neighborliness and pray for the nation's progress and security.
Similarly, with Ash Wednesday marking the beginning of the 2026 Lenten season, Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has called on citizens to use the 40-day period of fasting and prayer for reflection and to pray for the country as Nigerians join Christians worldwide on observing the season. VOPTV's Matthew Gunswada has more in this report.
The season has begun today, February 18, with the observance of Ash Wednesday, a solemn day that marks the start of the 40-day period of fasting, prayer, and reflection observed by Christians around the world. Lent commemorates the 40 days Jesus Christ spent fasting and praying in the wilderness, according to biblical account. In Nigeria, First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu marked the occasion in Abuja, urging citizens to use the sacred period to seek God's guidance for the nation. Similarly, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu encouraged Lagosians to reflect deeply, pray fervently, and uphold the values of love, compassion, unity, and kindness towards one another. Meanwhile, Voice of the People TV spoke with several Nigerians who shared the significance of the day and what the Lenten season means to them.
We have prayed a lot. At least this time around, the two, both the Christian and the Muslim, fasting and prayer combined together. We should go to the mosque and go to the church and seek for God's intervention to help us in the country, because everybody is crying. Everybody is crying.
My prayer for Nigeria as a country, as a federation, as a nation is for us to get better. You know, everyone desires this country to be great again. We've heard stories of how this country was one time a great country. So I look forward to this country being a better place for every Nigerian, for every one of us, you know, habitable, free from corruption, and, you know, there's social amenities here and there, wherever it should be, educational opportunities for everyone. So that's my prayer. And for every Nigeria to see themselves equal, that is basically the thing.
Actually, Nigeria need prayers. We need security, because we are not safe in this country. Most important thing is the prayer. God should give us good leader that will understand the youth and the people living inside Nigeria.
In the meantime, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has called for inclusive governance, effective policy implementation, and national unity as Christians observe Ash Wednesday. In a statement, CAN President Archbishop Daniel Oko emphasized the need for reflection on Nigeria's challenges, including rising living cost, unemployment, and security issues. The statement highlights the importance of leaders prioritizing citizens' welfare and working towards a prosperous Nigeria. CAN's message comes amid ongoing economic and social difficulties in the country.
Meanwhile, Kaduna State Governor Obasani has approved 50 Christians to embark on a holy pilgrimage, ending an 11-year suspension of the program. The Christian pilgrimage scheme was halted during former Governor Nasiru El-Rufai's administration. Reverend Ma G. Bawa, chairman of the Kaduna State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, praised Governor Sani's decision, calling it bold and inclusive. The move has been welcomed by the Christian community, who see it as a step toward religious harmony and balanced governance. The 50 pilgrims are expected to visit Israel, with the state government covering costs. This development marks a significant shift in the state's approach to religious inclusivity.
The Nigerian Sultanate Council Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs has confirmed the sighting of the new moon, declaring February 18, 2026 as the first day of Ramadan. This report says as Muslims begin the holy month of fasting and prayer, religious and political leaders are calling for unity, peace, and national development. VOP TV's Matthew Gunswada provides further insights in this report.
The Nigerian Sultanate Council Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs has confirmed the sighting of the new moon, declaring Wednesday, February 18, 2026 as the first day of Ramadan. In a statement, the Sultan of Sokoto, Said Abubakar III, urged Muslims to use the holy month to pray for peace and against the insecurity affecting parts of the country. Meanwhile, at the 31st pre-Ramadan lecture organized by the University of Lagos Muslim alumni, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, called on Muslim faithful to embrace good governance, justice, and service to humanity as pathways to spiritual fulfillment and national development. Voice of the People TV spoke to Muslim faithfuls who shared their expectations for the holy month and emphasized the importance of prayer, charity, and unity during Ramadan.
In humanity, so it really have a positive impact in the life of humanity. So Ramadan is very good. A lot of things that it will take off from your life, like waywardness and so on. So the significance of Ramadan is to purify, cleanse, and make someone to think straight, most especially to move closer to the Creator, Almighty Allah. That's the significance of Ramadan.
As Muslims across the country begin their fasting and prayers, many faithful say they will use the holy months of Ramadan to seek spiritual renewal, pray for peace, and strengthen bonds within their communities. Matthew Ogunswada, reporting for Voice of the People Television.
Matthew, thank you. And now the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCAM, plans to deploy Nigerian medical professionals living abroad to various states in 2026 to improve healthcare services. The Diaspora Health Impact Initiative 2026 aims to harness global diaspora medical expertise to strengthen local health systems. NIDCAM Chair Abike Dabiri Erewa stated that Nigeria receives over $20 billion in diaspora remittances annually, but the technical expertise of Nigerian medical professionals overseas remains underutilized. The initiative will bring diaspora-based doctors and specialists to conduct medical interventions and provide training in various geopolitical zones.
The federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding to operationalize Medipool as Nigeria's national group purchasing organization towards reducing the cost of medicines, strengthening supply chain efficiency, and expanding access to quality health commodities for Nigerians. Approved by the Federal Executive Council in 2025, Medipool is designed to aggregate demand for pharmaceuticals and medical supplies across public and private health facilities, enabling bulk purchasing, price negotiation, and improved quality assurance across the national health supply chain. In a statement on X, the Ministry of Health said the initiative reports key national priorities while advancing Nigeria's target of increasing local pharmaceutical manufacturing to meet a significant share of domestic demand. Speaking on the significance of the agreement, the Minister Mohammed Perti said operationalization of Medipool represents a strategic shift in how Nigeria procures and delivers essential medicines.
Away from health matters, power generation companies in Nigeria have rejected allegations of institutionalized extortion made by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), describing the claims as misleading and damaging to efforts to stabilize the power sector. The Association of Power Generation Companies (APGC) stated that the remarks by NLC President Joe Ajaero do not reflect the realities of the Nigerian electricity supply industry. According to APCG CEO Joy Ogaji, power generation companies face the greatest risk in the electricity value chain, with outstanding unpaid invoices exceeding 6 trillion naira. Ogaji urged the NLC to focus on addressing the liquidity crisis threatening the sustainability of electricity supply across the country rather than castigate operators.
Joining us virtually to analyze the news, we have Prince Francis Chilaka, a political analyst and public affairs commentator. Glad to have you join us.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Also, we have Chijioke Oji, who is a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you join us, Chijioke.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start with what is like the biggest news today. President Bola Tinubu has signed the Electoral Act 2026 amendment into law. We've seen the back and forth even before this bill was signed into law. And what do you make of this? When this news broke, how did you feel? Let me come to you first, Chijoke.
Well, with mixed feelings. First of all, with the manner in which the president has been able to assent to the bill. This is, I think, the fastest assented bill that I'm aware of in the recent time. We ask, why, similar bill in 2023 took about longer than enough to be assented. And this is yet to, completely address the issues raised by Nigerians over the real-time transmission of this election results from the polling units. I mean, these things are not rocket science. The fact that even the president gave reasons that he signed this because he felt that elections are managed by humans and not, machines. Yes, it's right to allude so. But I mean, this whole idea of trying to get this to be arrested, because this is one of the major issues that till date has not been able to settle in the minds of the electorates and the voters, especially with the 2023 elections, because these were the issues that many Nigerians still have conflict and the rest of the world have conflict, especially with the fact that there were so many irregularities that we're seeing as a result of the fact that most of the uploaded results to the IRM did not tally with the altered results that were clearly seen, that were presented in the court until today are still living witnesses. So if the president and the ruling party of the APC feel that this is the best gift to Nigerians, then I do not think there's even any need for the 2027 election, because already it's already a one-party state, and we have never seen much credible elections, not even at the state level, where it's about the muscles or who has the deep pockets. And we have never seen the security agencies live up to the responsibilities of prosecuting, these erring individuals. Because the same thing now has also come up with the reform where the umpire is asking EFCC to go after and prosecute individuals that are caught on the wrongful side of the law. And we've had these deliberations in several elections that have come and gone without there being any tangible, persons that have been presented for today are said to have been prosecuted as a result of the role they played in the rigging of elections or election violences. Because we as a nation only see it fit that it is only when you have constituted a special tribunal to try people that have committed wrongs, that is only when it can become easier to try people when they have committed criminal offenses.
Well, Chijoke, let me come in here.
Laws.
Can I come in here, Chijoke? I think what I hear you say is that there is a need for scapegoats, right, to serve as deterrent. It's what what I hear you say. But I'd like to quickly go to Francis so that I'll have him react to some of the things you've said. Francis, Chijoke mentioned a number of things. He talked about how the president said humans are the ones who will conduct the elections really credibly and not machines or technology. But Chijoke also said that there is actually no need for 2027 to happen again, since it looks like, this thing is done and dusted. He also said that he received the president's assent into law, the electoral bill, with so much speed that he received it with mixed reactions. So this is an open-ended question to you, Francis. How do you receive this breaking news, really, if we can call it that, the biggest one today of the president assenting to the electoral bill?
Well, to be honest, I'm not shocked. I saw it coming when, if you notice when the protest started, the first day, the police were civil. I think the second day, they were a bit civil. And then the next thing, they started targeting the Protestants. So it became obvious that a decision has been arrived at. And, we're not running democracy as a democracy in this country today. We seem to have slided gradually, unknowingly into dictatorship. And because you can't have a situation where people are agitating, people are saying, democracy is about the people. And the people are saying, we do not agree with this. While the people are still protesting, you are signing it into law. This is what happened when the government changed the national anthem. You didn't consult anybody, you just changed it. That's why today, when it comes to singing the national anthem, you see people singing on your mandate will stand. Because people are so confused. School children are confused. They don't even know which of the national anthem to sing. So I don't really understand where we're headed in this country, but it is sad the way Nigeria is. And I totally agree with my co-analyst. We are sliding, or we are sliding into one-party state. So there shouldn't be an election, because if we're saying that the conditions under which these elections are conducted, the conditions under which the results are captured is unacceptable to everyone, and the president goes ahead to sign it, then it means that first and foremost, those we have in the Senate have failed Nigerians, those we have in the House of Rep have failed Nigerians, the executive arm of government has failed Nigerians. So Nigerians should just go home and forget anything about election come 2027.
Wow, that's a very strong line. But let me ask you this. One of the things that the Senate passed before the bill got to the table of the president was a change. They made a change to the date, the guideline for passing it for elections, and then they moved it from 360 days to 300 days. What do you make of this? Some persons have said, should Nigeria actually fall, or come down to the religion? Shouldn't the religion be separated from our policies as a nation? What do you make of this?
Honestly speaking, we should have a country that has nothing to do with religion. But if you look at it, you ask yourself, the constitution we all parade, the 1999 constitution, how many times is Islam mentioned inside of it? And how many times is Christianity mentioned in it? So we need to understand that until we change that document, that obnoxious document called 1999 Constitution that was foisted on Nigerians by the military, that is nothing but Decree 24. Until that document is changed, nothing will change in Nigeria. The development you and I seek as Nigerians cannot come under that document. That document has led to too many impunity. Let me give you an example. It is that document that politicians rely on. When you decamp from one party to another, you retain the position of the former party. That is an aberration. You can't resign from, let's say, from NPC, and you go to EFCC, and you retain your position that you were holding on to in NNPC, also in EFCC. It's wrong. So there's so much wrong with that document. And that document is the brain of our problem. That document is why you have fundamentalists trying to run over this country. We need to change that document. And we need to draw a line. Nigeria is a secular state, not a religious state. And until we do that, I don't know why, shying away from the reality of saying Nigeria is a secular state. We must not pander to the wishes of any religious group in this country.
Francis, your statements are loud and clear. I would like to take it back to Chijioke. Chijioke, I'll have you react to some of the statements Francis made before we let this matter go. Now, in his summation, he said that those are the Senate had failed Nigerians. He also said the House of Representatives had failed Nigerians. But you remember, Chijioke, how yesterday opposition lawmakers staged a walkout. At some point, we heard them saying that this is no longer a democracy, but a fraud. So would you entirely agree with Francis that all the lawmakers in the Senate and the House of Reps members have failed their constituents?
Well, I agree with him to a larger extent because the truth be told, let's not forget that the first thing is this individual's interest. It is not about the interest of their community or the people around them, because in the first instance, in most cases, they were selected and not elected. Otherwise, we're still yet to get answers from Lawan, from the current Senate president, how he emerged and was also able to win elections. It is in the same country we've had people who were in prison, from prison straight to the upper chamber of the same legislative house in Nigeria. In the person of Obishore and all that, these were things that happened in this same country, and it seems today we have all forgotten about it. Things that hasn't really changed. But the major problem is that we have so many louder, weaker voices that always suppress the good intentions. There are a few of them that actually have the intents of the people around them, not because that it was elections, because there are certain reverberations in them of that atom of humanity that says that all of the things that they're acquiring today and destroying are all vanity. So, but the only major problem is that we have the empty drums. That's the majority of those who even clap when individuals make a mocker joke as an address. That's how the country has been reduced. And I want to remind Nigerians that it is not even about electing people. That is actually the solution to Nigerians' problem. Otherwise, what would you say in the person of the immediate past administration of President Muhammad Buhari? Because Nigerians came out really ready for a collective change because they felt that he was the right man. And once he was elected as the Messiah, he will bring about change in Nigeria. But he came in there and we saw that the same cabals, the same people Jonathan called as cabals, the rulers and the destroyers of the nation, who these individuals bow to, have continued to use them as the same puppets. So what we're seeing today of the continued fostering at the National Assembly, where it is more or less a house of collective jokers. In fact, I want to borrow the word of the current MB of Kanus in the person of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, who said that if he picked up random Nigerians from across the 36 states of the Federation, they would even most times even do better than the current people there, because what are the caliber of the people we have in the house? Look at what they're clearing as those who represent Nigerians internationally as ambassadors. And in most cases, a lot of them have no idea of the ministries they're in charge. I've said this repeatedly. Many of us expected that Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu will come to be a great deal changer. But what have we seen is the continued destruction and reinforcement of failure. And we're still talking about 2027 in the midst of hunger, impoverishment, and destructions of the dear nation. And we're talking about election. Now we're now talking about an election that's going to cost Nigeria close to $1 trillion. For what? What are we set to achieve when it is all said to be? I'm not going to accuse the ruling party, but we have never had a free, fair, credible elections, because it is when these politicians quarrel that we hear the real truth. The same Erufai who was praising the electoral umpire for delivering God sent came out when it was the bubble boss and told Nigerians the reality of the truth. So I think that we have been, as victims, as Nigerians, to have continued to allow this set of rogues, if we call them, or set of individuals who have no atom of feelings or any form of conscience of governance, because a lot of them don't have businesses of being in governance. They found themselves in ways to which they muzzle themselves. They have continued to abuse power, and you don't expect any form of sanity from them. They can't give you what they don't have. They do not have productivity. They do not have managerial service, expertise. They have nothing more to offer Nigerians other than the so-called showcasing of wastages in the midst of poverty. They are still brandishing cars, brandishing private jets and all sorts in the faces of Nigerians that are, finding it difficult to even have a square meal a day. And yet we don't have a motorable road. We don't have electricity. Where do you want to drive the nation? Today, the president said he assented to the bill because of what? That there's a failure of network. What empowers the network is power. He promised the nation that if he was coming in power into governance, that within 4 years he would ensure not even just providing power, but he would have, solved the entire problem of the issues lingering with power. Today, he came in at 6,000 megawatts. They were celebrating 2,900 megawatts. And we now have people to come out in the daytime, not at night, saying they want to support the same failure. it shows that there's something wrong.
Okay.
And let us not forget that the level of psychological decay of persons in Nigerians that have been acknowledged by different governors. For instance, I remember in a census carried out by Lagos State government under the current administration of Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who said that in every 6 Nigerians that are living in Lagos, at least 4 are said to be mentally unstable.
Okay, okay.
And how many psychiatric hospitals do we have addressing these issues, including the politicians?
Okay.
So there's a big problem across board.
Thank you. Because of time, I will need to let me get to Chilaka for another question. Chilaka, I want to ask you, the election in Abuja is coming up on Saturday, but there's a new development. People's Democratic Party's chairmanship candidates in the Buhari Council election, he withdrew from the race and then is throwing his support behind APC candidate Joshua Musa. What do you make of this development? Does it look like something that's gone under the waters? What do you make of it?
See, when a whole minister of the Federal Republic comes out to intimidate people, to intimidate those who want to get involved in an election, and everybody keeps quiet, then nothing would move forward. His withdrawal to a lot of people is not by surprise. It's something that's come as a result of threats, especially from the FCT minister. And as you know, the FCT minister has vowed that any candidate that will not President Bola Tinubu will not be allowed to contest the election. So I'm sure the young man has seen the handwriting on the wall and has decided to chicken out. But it's unfortunate. It is really unfortunate the kind of leaders we have today. It's really unfortunate the direction at which they are taking Nigeria to. It is really unfortunate that they do not realize that the wrong decisions they are making today will affect many lives tomorrow. It's unfortunate that we are moving our country into more like a failed state, and we're all smiling and happy about it. But posterity will judge those who drag this nation to the ground.
Well, that's a very catchy wrap up there, Francis. But let me quickly take it to Chijoke. Chijoke, it would be remiss of us not to let you have your say. Just a minute, please. How would you react to this story? Do you agree with what Francis said? That probably Julius Adamo of the PDP was threatened. That's why he withdrew from the race and is now supporting his competitor or his the opposition. What do you make of this?
Well, a lot of politicians have actually lost credibility to even believe in what they believe in. So, but again, the continued ruling party's behavior, especially in bullying people without any form of remorse or restraint, shows that Nigeria's actually in a bigger mess. Because who would you cry to? Who would call to save or protect them? Nigerians are more vulnerable now than ever. And I can attest that many people never expected that it would get this so bad so quickly under the same leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who we never knew or saw any of this part in him. For anyone who have known and related with him closely, we know he's a man in the past that I would speak of and say, who would fight for the last privileges. Is a man you could actually say you don't need a godfather to be close or to relate with. I can attest to that. But what is happening today, it's different. You can't tell of the man that I once knew and related. There is nothing of a resemblance of him, especially in his leadership style. We are talking about the decay of a nation, and all that is in quest is the elections that the current tenure has not even expired. It's a misplaced priorities. So this we never saw. And if the man in Abuja is feeling the heat, it's better for him to calculate the losses, because eventually going into that election with the bully and all those that they have seen around him, he's definitely going to be rigged out. And at the end of the day, he would only cry to the courts that are loyal to certain individuals. And of course, we're seeing the spring up houses that are meant for the judiciary. So I know the way Nigerians have been made to be so hungry and so deprived of their powers, they would do anything to please the people at the top. I haven't mentioned it, But I hope that the message gets across to them rightly, that we cannot afford to destroy our dear nation badly.
Well, thank you very much, Chijioke, and thank you very much, Chilaka, for being with us on the News Hour.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we've been speaking with Chilaka, or Francis Chilaka. He is a political analyst, and of course, Chijioke Oji, who also is a political analyst. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories. Just stay with us. Glad to have you back. The National Orientation Agency has reaffirmed its role as the federal government's principal communication agency, highlighting its nationwide grassroots presence and daily engagement with citizens. Director General Lanre Isao Nilu made this known during an interview at the headquarters of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Abuja. He said beyond radio, television, and social media, NOA officers engage directly with communities, visiting motor parks, markets, meeting traditional rulers, and attending town hall sessions to educate citizens. Isao Nilo emphasized that the agency was established by law as the government's central communication bridge. He added that when agencies like the FRSC partner with NOA, it is not a favor, but a discharge of a statutory responsibility.
And now a heated quarrel over park entry tickets turned deadly in the Edo local government area of Edo State, leaving one man dead and prompting a security crackdown. A correspondent, Roji Johnny, reports that the Edo State Special Security Squad, acting on Governor Monday Okpebholo's directive, recovered firearms abandoned by fleeing suspects, signaling a tense escalation in the area.
The Edo State Special Security Squad recovered firearms following the killing of a man in Orodo local government area. The operation was intensified on the directive of Governor Monday Okpebholo after the incident at Ibokota's estate gates. Arms were seized from an abandoned vehicle at Iriri and the local axis after suspects fled with cartridges from a 9mm pistol recovered at the scene. The Secretary of the Edo State Special Security Squad provided further details on the killing and the ongoing response.
The governor gave a marching order that the assailant must be found. And this is what gave us the premonition to go into town today as early as 6 o'clock. We're in Benin, Metropolis, and we combed the length and breadth of Benin. And God be it, we saw, first in history, a K2 army magazine live in a vehicle that all the occupants fled, but we recovered the vehicle, a Highlander vehicle, and the K2. And we made some arrests as well, and they are giving us intel report to the leading major arrest that we're going to unleash very soon. Okay. Going forward, just expect that the town will be calm. We also expect that everyone that is into cultism and all sundry vices should relocate, or they will be found and caught and arrested and prosecuted. And Benin City should go on their normal duties. There is no cause for alarm.
Several suspects have been arrested and security has been strengthened in affected areas as the squad continues efforts to restore order. Brother Johnny, VOP TV News.
The Lagos State government, alongside health partners, is intensifying efforts to combat malaria and improve tuberculosis diagnosis through innovation, collaboration, and sustainable healthcare financing. The discussions form the focus of a high-level stakeholders meeting held in Lagos. Praise Peters reports.
Efforts to eliminate malaria and strengthen tuberculosis diagnosis in Lagos State are gaining momentum as government and health stakeholders promote collaboration, data-driven interventions, and sustainable healthcare financing. At a high-level convening, experts noted that although Nigeria's malaria burden remains significant, targeted strategies and digital health solutions can improve diagnosis and treatment outcomes. Health authorities say that interventions will prioritize health burden areas alongside public education to correct misconceptions, including the reminder that not all fevers are malaria-related. Stakeholders also emphasize sustainable financing to strengthen referral systems, reduce out-of-pocket costs, and support primary health care centers.
Today, we also mark an important milestone with the launch of the Tuberculosis Diagnostic Access Program in Lagos State. By leveraging innovative community-level diagnostic solutions and building on the digital infrastructure established through the malaria program, we are taking decisive steps to find missing cases, enable early detection, and strengthen linkage to care.
So what we're doing is, the way that the project is designed is that we're working with people that we call PPMVs and CPs. So those are like your local drug sellers, drugstores, mama nurse type of people, as well as pharmacies, because we know that's where people seek care. And we've created an app so that we can basically register patients there and then link them to the formal health system. So by doing that, we're creating a direct digital tool that connects people in the community with the formal health system. We're also working with LASHMA, which is the health insurance agency, to put sustainable funding in for this by using health insurance for the people who are accessing care.
Have their treatment for malaria or what is suspected to be malaria.
The meeting also featured the unveiling of the End Tuberculosis Now initiative to expand diagnosis access across the state, with optimism that stronger partnerships will improve healthcare outcomes. I'm Praise Peters, reporting for Voice of the People Television.
Praise, thank you. On the foreign scene now, 2 days of U.S.-mediated peace talks between Ukraine and Russia in Geneva ended without a breakthrough, with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky accusing Moscow of stalling negotiations. Zelensky stated that Russia is trying to drag out talks that could have reached a final stage, describing the first day as difficult. The talks, mediated by U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, aimed to end the 4-year-old war. Ukraine has faced pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump to accept a deal involving potential concessions amidst Russian attacks on Ukraine's power grid. Russia's chief negotiator, Vladimir Medinsky, described the talks as difficult but businesslike. Meanwhile, the delegations agreed to meet again in the future without a set date.
And now to business. President Bola Tinubu suspended the collection of management and frontier exploration fees by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited as part of efforts to safeguard oil and gas revenues due to the Federation. The directive announced by the Federal Ministry of Finance also orders direct remittance of taxes, royalties, and profit oil to fiscal authorities, blocking deductions at source. The executive order aims to realign oil and gas revenue flows with constitutional provisions and address revenue leakages, weakening inflows into the Federation account.
Well, in sports news, Sevilla coach Matias Almeida has been banned for 7 matches by the Spanish Football Federation's disciplinary committee. The ban follows his red card during Sevilla's La Liga draw with Alves last weekend. 50-year-old Almeida was sent off for protesting and subsequently entered the pitch, remonstrating angrily with the referee for over a minute. The suspension breakdown includes 2 games for protests, 1 game for failing to leave the field, 3 games for attitude of contempt towards officials, and 1 game for unsporting conduct. Sevilla has announced plans to appeal the ban, calling it excessive. Almeida's suspension leaves Sevilla 13th in La Liga, 2 points above the relegation zone, with 14 matches remaining.
And finally, in entertainment, Afrobeat singers Tems and Burna Boy have made history by surpassing South African group Cedar to become the African artist with the most Billboard US Hot 100 entries. The duo earned new entries on the chart with their features on J. Cole's album The Fall-Off with Bounce Road Blues featuring Thames and Future debuting at 34, and Only You with Burna Boy debuting at 78, bringing their total to 8 entries. Thames now has 3 Billboard Hot 100 entries this year, making her the African artist with the most entries this year. She only recently became the first African female artist to achieve 7 Billboard Hot 100 entries, tying Burna Boy and Cedar. Burna Boy has also achieved the remarkable feat, becoming the first African artist to have a song on the Billboard Hot 100 for 6 consecutive years, with entries in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026.
And it's a wrap on News Hour. Thank you so much for watching. I am Vivian Uguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Bye for now.
In a world where power shifts with every headline,
In a nation full of questions,
in a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations, but who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin.
We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics